Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Martial Universe Season 5 based on novel. So let's start. For the next 5 days, Lin Dong stayed in his room and he did not come out at all. Since he had just completed refining the heavenly crocodile bone spear, he had to refine it for a period of time. This would allow him to bring out the weapon's formidable power fluidly during a battle. During these 5 days, Lin Langtian indeed did not tell Lin Fan about the incident in the sacred spirit pool. After all, there was nothing about this issue that he was proud of. Furthermore, there was a mysterious Yuan spirit residing in his body too, hence, he was not really that innocent as well. Therefore, he would not be so stupid to use this incident to stir trouble for Lin Dong. Thus, these 5 days passed peacefully in the blink of an eye. On the 5th day, as dawn cracked through the sky, Lin Dong, his eyes had been shut tightly, opened them up gradually. Deep within his eyes, there was a strong surge of solemnity and hope. "Let's go," Lin Dong muttered to himself. Without further hesitation, he stood up and pushed open the door and left the room. As he stepped out of his room, he could feel that the courtyard's atmosphere was tensing up. He walked out of the courtyard in quickly before he saw Lin Fan and his counterparts, who had been waiting for a long time, at the front yard. There was a solemn look on the faces of the Lin clan's elites waiting in the front yard. Everyone knew that today is the day that Lin Dong and Lin Langtian will enter the ancient battlefield. These two men's achievements in the ancient battlefield would determine Lin clan's future. Go. After his gaze lingered on Lin Dong and Lin Langtian for quite a while, Lin Fan then let out a deep breath. With a wave of his palm, he turned around without hesitation, and led the entourage directly to the Imperial Palace. In the inner sanctum of the Imperial Palace, there was a huge towering mountain. The mountain's peak reached a height of several thousand meters and pierced right through the clouds. In the Great Yang Empire, this mountain was called the Sacred War Peak. It was considered a forbidden area, as it contained the passageway to the ancient battlefield. At this moment, there was an entourage waiting silently on the peak of the mountain. These people were the members of the imperial family Mo Jingtian, Mo Ling and their counterparts. Apparently, they were the first ones to reach this place. Not far away from Mo Jingtian and his counterparts, there was a huge stone formation. Numerous magical symbols were being carved onto these huge stones. Waves of terrifying energy emitted continuously from these symbols, and this caused the surrounding Yuan power to seethe. Mo Jingtian stared silently at the ancient stone formation, with his chest slightly raised. This let everyone know that his state of mind was not as calm as it seemed on the surface. "Linger, I'm afraid various fighters have already gathered at the ancient battlefield now. You have to be extremely careful when you enter the battlefield. The Great Yang Empire is not considered as a powerful empire in the East Xian region. All the geniuses from the other empires are valiant individuals. Hence, you should try your best to keep a low profile before successfully attaining the Nirvana stage. You can protect yourself only if you have attained the Nirvana stage. Otherwise, you are just a stepping stone for others," Mo Jingtian said in a deep tone, while waiting for the other entourages to arrive. "Yes." Mo Ling nodded his head slightly after he heard Mo Jingtian's words. "In addition, when you are in the ancient battlefield, try your best to maintain a good relationship with Lin clan's Lin Dong. That lad is not a simple individual. I have done some research on him. 3 years ago, he had a brush with Lin Langtian. At that time, he couldn't even withstand Lin Langtian's aura. However, within a short period of 2 years' time, like what you had said, he was able to subdue Lin Langtian to such extent in the sacred spirit pool," Mo Jingtian said slowly. "This lad's strength appears to be of only initial manifestation stage, and he can be considered the weakest link among the 5 of you. However, his fighting capabilities and numerous tricks are able to make up for this deficiency, and even help him to surpass all of you. For some reasons, I feel that the moves he have displayed so far are not his best moves." Upon hearing these words, Mo Ling was slightly alarmed. Apparently, he had never expected Mo Jingtian to think so highly of Lin Dong. "It's better not to become enemies with this kind of people. It will be much more beneficial for you if you are to become his friend," Mo Jingtian warned after a moment of silence. Mo Ling nodded his head once again. All along, he had no intentions of becoming enemies with Lin Dong. Even though the latter was a member of branch family, Mo Ling did not really care about it. After all, heroes could be from anywhere. What Mo Ling cared about the most was Lin Dong's capabilities, not his background. In the ancient battlefield, no matter what your background is, you still have to experience numerous massacres amongst the chaos. What really matters there is strength, not background. However, there are deep grudges between Lin Dong and Lin Langtian. In the Great Yang Empire, with the presence of Lin Fan, everything is still okay. But once they enter the ancient battlefield, they may break out into a fight. When that moment comes, Mo Ling suddenly said. This kind of issue proved to be a headache for them. That was because no matter which side you helped, the other side would be offended. However, if you helped neither sides and maintained a neutral position, you would not be able to develop a strong relationship with either sides. If it really came down to a life or death battle between Lin Dong and Lin Langtian, Mo Ling would choose to help Lin Dong. And because of this, he would definitely obtain Lin Dong's true friendship, but at the same time, he would offend Lin Langtian. Upon hearing Mo Ling's words, Mo Jingtian furrowed his brows. After a moment, he then looked at Mo Ling and slowly said two words, Lin Dong. Mo Ling's heart shivered slightly. He knew that, between the two geniuses of the Lin clan, Mo Jingtian ultimately still felt that Lin Dong would surpass Lin Langtian. Got it, Mo Ling nodded his head slightly. Honestly speaking, he was not surprised with Mo Jingtian's decision. In terms of innate talents, Lin Dong did not lose out to Lin Langtian. More importantly, Lin Dong did not need to depend on any faction's support. Even though he used to be an ant, he was able to climb step by step to his current position in the Great Yang Empire. Conversely, Lin Langtian had massive support from the Lin clan's resources. The difference between these two individuals was obvious. After all, resources might be important, but without an unyielding tenacity, there was no way one could become a true elite. They have arrived. A smile appeared on Mo Jingtian's face as his gaze shifted to a particular mountain road. Just as Mo Jingtian finished his sentence, a deafening sound resounded from the mountain road. Several silhouettes appeared on the mountain peak with a lightning speed. They were the entourages from the Lin clan and Heavenly Luo sect. Lin Dong was standing behind Lin Fan. As the former stopped in his tracks, his gaze shifted to the huge stone formation, which was not too far away. His eyes then surged with intense astonishment. Even ordinary Nirvana stage practitioners could not have set up such a powerful formation. When the Great Yang Empire was just established, we spent a huge amount of money to invite an elite from a super sect to build this teleporting formation to the ancient battlefield. There are countless empires in the East Xian region, and many small empires do not have the qualification and ability to possess such a teleporting formation. As such, these small empires can only borrow other empires' teleporting formations, which is kind of disgraceful, Lin Fan explained to Lin Dong. Lin Dong nodded his head. It appeared that this teleporting formation was like an qualification test. If an empire did not even have a teleporting formation, there was no reason for it to enter the 100 Empire War. Even if it did attend the war, it would be just throwing its participants' lives away. Everyone, the ancient battlefield is an land that have existed since ancient times. Now, it has been used as an arena for the 100 Empire War by those super sects. There are countless treasures and even ancient inheritances hidden in that piece of land. However, it also depends one's affinity as to whether he or she can obtain these treasures. Of course, these treasures will be fraught with dangers as well. Mo Jingtian's gaze then swept across everyone and landed lastly on Lin Dong. The former then spoke in a deep tone, this period of time, I guess all of you understand the 100 Empire War's degree of cruelty. Hence, I shall not repeat myself. In short, no matter which clans you are representing, you better curb your attitudes after you entered the ancient battlefield. In the Great Yang Empire, you are considered exceptional talents. However, once you are inside, each of you is just an ordinary individual. Let me tell all of you, if you are arrogant and despotic inside the ancient battlefield, your corpse might not even make it back here. Lin Dong nodded his head in silence. Other than dealing with Lin Langtian and those members of the Lin clan who despised him, Lin Dong usually would not put up an insolent front. Therefore, he would not enter the ancient battlefield with such an attitude. Next, we will activate the formation. I guess everyone knows about the rules. To activate the formation, 50,000 Nirvana pills will be needed. This time around, since there are 2 participants from the Lin clan this time around, the Lin clan will have to provide 20,000 Nirvana pills, Mo Jingtian explained while looking at Lin Fan and his counterparts. 50,000 Nirvana pills. Upon hearing this, Lin Dong's face cramped and looked unbelievably at the huge formation. It was hard for him to believe that such a terrifying amount of nirvana pills was needed to activate the formation. Lin Fan and his counterparts were not surprised at this rule. However, Lin Dong could see that Lin Fan's face was squirming with pain. 20,000 nirvana pills were not a small amount to the Lin clan. Sai, Lin Dong, Lin Langtian, Lin clan's future will depend on your accomplishments in the ancient battlefield, Lin Fan sighed. Then, with a swipe of his palm, a Qinkuan bag flew towards Mo Jingtian. At the other side, Heavenly Luo sect and Barbarian King sect had each thrown a Qinkuan bag too. It seemed that they had long prepared the nirvana pills. As Mo Jingtian took the Qinkuan bags, he took a sweeping glance and nodded his head slightly. With a snap of his finger, numerous nirvana pills, accompanied by vigorous energy, whizzed towards the center of the huge stone formation. Buzz. Buzz. As the huge amount of nirvana pills flew in, the gigantic stone formation began to tremble. The symbols on the formation started to give off resplendent radiance. Then, a light pillar began to form in the center of the formation. Mo Ling, Lin Dong and the three of you, faster enter the formation. Mo Jingtian yelled as he saw the light pillar augmented. Yes. The 5 persons answered in the same time. Without further ado, and under the nervous gazes of Lin Fan and his counterparts, they became 5 silhouettes and flew directly into the light pillar. Bang! As the 5 of them entered the light pillar, a bright luster erupted like a brilliant sun from the pillar. After a long period of time, it began to fade slowly. As the light pillar faded, the 5 silhouettes had already disappeared. Whatever accomplishments you attain in that land will have to depend on your individual capabilities, Mo Jingtian, Lin Fan and their counterparts muttered as they looked at the empty stone formation. The ancient battlefield was a space that had been left behind from an ancient time. It was said that countless years ago, an earth-shattering war had broke out on this land. The epic war was fought between entities that transcended even the supersects of the East Xian region today. It was described by many as world-shaking, earth-breaking and even space-shattering. The current size of the ancient battlefield was many folds smaller than it used to be at its peak, a result of the earth-shattering war. However, even though the ancient battlefield's vastness had shrunken many-fold, it was still much bigger than the Great Yang Empire by an unknown number of times. Even the ancient tablet space that Lin Dong had entered in the past paled in comparison to this place. There were countless treasure troves within this ancient battlefield. It was not known how many practitioners from long-gone eras left their inheritances in this place, quietly awaiting a predestined individual to uncover them. Ever since the ancient battlefield was chosen as the venue for the 100 Empire War, there was bound to be a lucky individual who found one of these inheritances every time. From there, these lucky individuals were then able to distinguish themselves in the cruel and fierce 100 Empire War, and win glory that would shake the entire East Xian region. Of course, in contrast to these winners, there were also numerous talented individuals from various empires that ended up as departed spirits on the ancient battlefield. Their bodies and lives would become glory for others. This was a rocky mountainous area where numerous bare and huge rocky mountains towered. Under the scorching sun, they gave off a scorching heat. Buzz. Suddenly, the air above one of the rocky mountains began to distort. A light pillar pierced through the distorted space and landed on the peak of the rocky mountain. After a short moment, the light pillar gradually began to fade, revealing the 5 silhouettes within. As both his feet landed on the ground, Lin Dong's befuddled mind immediately became clear again. The Yuan power in his body instantly started to circulate, promptly expelling the feeling of weakness caused by the teleportation. As he raised his gaze, an unfamiliar area and environment appeared before his eyes. Is this the ancient battlefield? Lin Dong looked at the rocky mountainous terrain that was filled with odd-looking rock formations. The place was overrun with weeds while a desolate and ancient aura was endlessly seeped out from the ground. Such vigorous Yuan power. Initially, Lin Dong was distracted by the unfamiliar environment before he suddenly realized that the vigorousness of the Yuan power in this place had reached quite a terrifying level. Lin Dong fiercely took in a deep breath of air and promptly felt a wave of vigorous Yuan power entered his body through his nostrils. After refinement, the surging Yuan power spread throughout his body like a heat wave. Immediately, a look of astonishment surfaced in his eyes. Compared to this place, the Yuan power in the Great Yang Empire was at least a whole level weaker. If he cultivated here, his progress would be at least 2 times faster than it was in the Great Yang Empire. The Yuan power here contained many forms of mystical energy with a swipe of his palm, a ball of yuan power gathered in Lin Dong's hand. In the ball of yuan power, there was a tiny trace of pink energy. Even though this sliver of pink energy was tiny, it possessed the temperature of a scorching sun. Just this tiny bit was able to create a burning sensation in Lin Dong's palm, causing a feeling of familiarity to arise in Lin Dong's mind. This is Nirvana Chi. When he felt this familiar sensation, Lin Dong's pupils abruptly shrunk. An uncontrollable surge of fanatical excitement surfaced in his eyes. Nirvana Chi could only be drawn from the land by Nirvana stage practitioners. Lin Dong never expected that an initial manifestation stage practitioner like himself could grab a handful of Nirvana Chi from the air in the ancient battlefield. The ancient battlefield was truly deserving of its reputation. It was no wonder that countless empires scrambled madly towards this place. Ha ha, Lin Dong, the ancient battlefield is indeed countless times more powerful than the Great Yang Empire. Since you possess the devouring ancestral symbol, no one will able to compete with you in terms of absorbing and refining Nirvana Chi. As long as you have enough time, you can easily collect enough Nirvana pills to attack the Nirvana stage. Little Martin's excited voice rang across Lin Dong's mind. Evidently, it had discovered the miracle of the ancient battlefield. Lin Dong nodded his head while staring at the ball of yuan power in his palm. Even though the yuan power here contained Nirvana Chi, it would not be an easy task to extract the Nirvana Chi. After all, it was difficult for practitioners that had not reached the Nirvana stage to manipulate such energy. However, Lin Dong was different from these people. Since he possessed the devouring ancestral symbol, he could absorb yuan power without any constraints. Hence, his efficiency in refining the Nirvana Chi would surpass others as well. This would allow him to rapidly establish a firm footing in the ancient battlefield. While Lin Dong was overwhelmed with amazement by the unique characteristic of the ancient battlefield, Missouri Ling and the other three participants' faces were surging with surprise and emotion as well. Apparently, they had sensed the presence of Nirvana Chi in the surrounding yuan power too. Everyone, this should be the ancient battlefield. According to some maps that I know of, if we walk a certain distance towards the north from here, we can reach an assembly point, Mo Ling explained after he had returned to his senses from the excitement. I guess everyone should know that nighttime of the ancient battlefield is filled with danger. Generally speaking, people rarely travel during the night in the ancient battlefield. Lin Dong gently nodded his head. Previously, he had heard from Lin Fan that nighttime in the ancient battlefield was different from the Great Yang Empire. When the night fell in the battlefield, the originally vigorous yuan power would be suppressed by the various types of mystical energy contained within it, hence causing the humans who practiced with yuan power to be suppressed as well. In other words, when nighttime arrived in the ancient battlefield, their powers would decrease considerably, while the demonic beasts of the ancient battlefield would become exceptional violent and powerful. Due to this contrasting effect, even Nirvana stage practitioners did not dare to travel alone during the night. Otherwise, if they were to encounter a horde of demonic beast, they would most likely become food for the latter. Thus, there were numerous assembly points in the ancient battlefield. In simpler terms, these were the places where various groups came together and resisted the coming of the night. We have arrived at the ancient battlefield and the 100 Empire War starts from this moment onwards. On this path, we can only move forward and not backwards. We have no way out. Hence, we may have to stay in this place for a long time. Everyone should know about the degree of cruelty in the 100 Empire War. No one can guarantee that we can smoothly gather enough Nirvana pills and successfully attack the Nirvana stage. At this point, if we can be a bit more united, I feel that our chances of surviving will increase substantially. There was a solemn look in Mo Ling's eyes. His mentality had changed very swiftly, as he clearly knew of the situation he was in. He was no longer in the Great Yang Empire, and therefore, he was no longer the respected third prince. Now, he was just an ordinary participant of the 100 Empire War. I have no complaints, Duyun spread out his arms and said. This place was far too foreign for them. He was afraid that no one would collect his corpse if he was to roam around without understanding the situation clearly. Me too, Man Shan nodded his head and replied. A gloomy look appeared on Lin Dong's face as he took a sweeping glance at Lin Langtian. Both him and Lin Langtian were practically arch-enemies, and it was impossible for him to let forth the grudge between them. In fact, the latter might even be planning when and how to kill him. Naturally, Lin Dong was entertaining such thoughts in his mind too. Ever since he stepped foot onto the ancient battlefield, there were no longer any consequences to worry about after killing Lin Langtian. In this place, no one could intervene. Just a moment ago, he even felt the urge of killing the festering cancer that was Lin Langtian right away. However, he was able to suppress this urge before it materialized. There was indeed no one would stop him from killing Lin Langtian now. However, this area was extremely foreign to Lin Dong and was filled with numerous dangers as well. Lin Langtian was no simple trash. Even if Lin Dong could kill him now, he would to pay a heavy price for it. He would be courting death if he was to put himself in a disadvantageous position in such an unfamiliar and dangerous place. Therefore, after Lin Dong calmed himself down, the raging killing intent in his mind was gradually controlled. Right now, he needed to familiarize himself with the ancient battlefield. Only by doing this could he secure a surefire opportunity. Third Prince's words do make sense. Lin Dong nodded his head slightly as his eyes flickered. Upon seeing this, Mo Ling heaved a sigh of relief. If they split up now, they would be like scattered sand. They might even encounter practitioners from other empires who would murder them instantly. Thus, they had to stick together to increase their chances of survival. In particular, they had to reach places like the assembly points. At this moment, an expressionless Lin Langtian nodded his head. No one knew what was he thinking about. Brother Lin Dong, in this place, you don't need to call me Third Prince. If you don't mind, you can call me by my name. Mo Ling smiled at Lin Dong. Since Brother Mo Ling says so, Lin Dong shall humbly accept. Lin Dong laughed. Ha ha, Brother Lin Dong, perhaps we will comrades in the future. Du Yun and Man Shan chuckled too. For some reason, these two tended to ally themselves with Lin Dong like Mo Ling. Because of this situation, there was a faint gloominess in Lin Langtian's eyes. It appeared that his defeat in the sacred spirit pool had led to Lin Dong securing an extremely high position in Mo Ling and the rest's hearts. Everyone, let's move out now. We must reach the assembly point before night falls. Otherwise, it will be far too dangerous to stay in the open. Unlike the Great Yang Empire, humans have to hide at night in the ancient battlefield. Mo Ling smiled and said. Agreed. With regards to Mo Ling's words, Lin Dong and the rest nodded their heads. The most important thing for newcomers to do was to clearly understand the current situation they were in. Let's go. Upon seeing this, without any further delay, Mo Ling waved his hand and took the lead by flying towards the north. As a member of the imperial family, the information he knew surpassed Lin Dong and the rest. Therefore, there were no objections to him leading the way. Thus, Lin Dong and the rest immediately moved to catch up to Mo Ling, becoming 5 blurry figures, as they flew towards the north at lightning speed. 100 Empire War, let me see how exciting you are. As he was flying in the mid-air, Lin Dong raised his head and gazed into the distance. His fists slowly clenched as a passionate look surged in his eyes. 5 figures swept across the vast and endless wild plains like lightning. Low wind sounds spread out from the surroundings of the 5 figures, echoing in the distance. These 5 figures were naturally Lin Dong and the others who had just reached the ancient battlefield not long ago. Their destination this time was the gathering point nearest to their location. After all, this was their first time here and everything was extremely unfamiliar to them. Additionally, the Black Knight of the ancient battlefield was extremely dangerous to them, hence, they needed to reach the gathering point before darkness descended. Or else, once night arrived, the land would be under the rule of the demonic beasts and other strange creatures, which would be extremely dangerous for them. While they rushed towards the gathering point, Lin Dong and gang encountered people from other empires. However, when both sides met, before Lin Dong and the rest could have any thoughts, these parties from other empires would rapidly back off like easily frightened birds. Their vigilant appearances caused Lin Dong and gang to have no choice but to give up on any ideas they had and place all their attention on hastening their journey. About half an hour of full-speed traveling later, the silhouette of a city finally appeared on the endless plains. When they saw the city that gave off an ancient smell, Lin Dong and his party sighed in relief. They knew that this should be the so-called assembly point. Although the competition in the ancient battlefield was known to be extremely cruel, everyone still needed to gather together at times. Or else, it would be very difficult to survive in the Black Knights of the ancient battlefield alone. Everyone, be careful after entering the gathering point. Although we have always emphasized on keeping a low profile, everyone should know that this is a world where the strong eats the weak. At times, being too low-key would instead bring about more trouble. When he saw the city that gave off an ancient smell, Mo Ling's speed slowed a little as his voice sounded out in Lin Dong and the other three's ears. Upon hearing this, Lin Dong lightly nodded his head. He did not like inviting trouble, but if some truly foolhardy person provoked him, he would not be the slightest bit merciful. With the cards he had, he would be able to safely retreat even from a Nirvana stage practitioner. Even if the ancient battlefield was a gathering of geniuses and overflowing with monsters, he was not scared at all. While Lin Dong's party exchanged information, they finally appeared outside the ancient city. From its outer appearance, this city was naturally not as luxurious as the royal city. Its simplicity gave off an old and stable flavor. The fact that it was able to stand for so many years in such a place allowed one to be certain of its toughness. At this moment, parties were arriving from all directions at the city gate that was seemingly made from black metal. All of them had powerful and vigorous auras and were clearly participants from the other empires. Moreover, what was most shocking to Lin Dong and his party was that there were a dozen figures blocking the city gate. Behind them was a flag, and on the flag was a dazzling golden sun. What's going on? Lin Dong gradually slowed his pace, his eyebrows slightly furrowed as he asked. This gathering spot has actually been taken over by someone. Which empire is it? To have such power, Mo Ling's expression also slightly changed due to this scene as he replied in alarm. Upon hearing this, Lin Dong and the other three's eyes turned a little more solemn. This kind of gathering point was filled with all kinds of characters. Everyone who arrived here were geniuses from various empires. To take control of such a city was no simple feat, which empire could be so powerful. Everyone, this gathering point has already been taken over by my Saint Light Empire. If you want to enter, each person has to pay 10 Nirvana pills. While Lin Dong and gang were shocked, a powerful voice rumbled out from the city gate area. The voice contained astonishing yuan power undulations, causing many people's expressions to change. Humph, this city is a public gathering point, you actually dare to collect Nirvana pills. This is too much. However, just as Lin Dong had said, everyone who came here were the top geniuses of their empires. This kind of robbery-like method was naturally extremely unwelcomed. Hence, someone immediately sneered and remarked. Outside the city gates, when a giant suntanned man wearing a blood-red earring heard this, a cruel look instantly flashed across his face. With a wave of his hand, 3 objects were thrown down from the city wall and heavily landed on the ground. The crowd looked over, only to find 3 bloody corpses. These 3 are from a so-called Dashi Empire. Previously, they were unable to accept that my Saint Light Empire controlled this city, thus, we killed them. If all of you are also unable to accept this, you can choose not to enter the city, or you can rebel like them. We don't mind taking action again, the suntanned man sinisterly laughed, his voice full of chilling killing intent. Upon seeing this, many people's expressions instantly changed. From the remnant yuan power undulations of the 3 corpses, they were able to tell that these 3 were definitely initial manifestation stage practitioners when they were alive. Even so, they had now become 3 ice-cold corpses. This kind of bloody truth made several people become a little more clear-headed. Only now did they realize that this place was no longer the empire they came from. Lin Dong's eyes narrowed a little when he saw this sight. After having just arrived at the ancient battlefield, he personally witnessed the laws of this place. Whoever had the biggest fist would be the ruler here. Everyone, my Saint Light Empire, has no intention of making things difficult for everyone. We only want to collect a small token sum of Nirvana pills from every person. As long as all of you cultivate properly in the city, you will very quickly refine 10 Nirvana pills. However, whoever tries to challenge the dignity of my Saint Light Empire will learn a lesson from the mistakes of their predecessors. While the city gate was somewhat silent due to this scene, a thunderous voice mixed with surging yuan power suddenly spread out from within the city, before resounding endlessly at the city gate area. Moreover, while the voice echoed, an extremely powerful yuan power pressure also spread outwards, immediately causing horror to rise up on several people's faces. Peak manifestation stage. Lin Dong's eyes turned a little more solemn at this moment, as he looked towards the depths of the city. He did not think that there would actually already be a peak manifestation stage practitioner in the Saint Light Empire. This kind of strength was on a higher level than Mo Ling, Lin Langtian and the rest. No wonder the Saint Light Empire dared to take charge of this city, it turns out that they had some ability. The outside of the gate was silent for a while. In the end, someone pushed down the rage in his heart and paid enough Nirvana pills before entering the city. Now that the sky was quickly darkening, if they still did not find a place to rest, it would truly become a little dangerous. Lin Dong and his party followed behind the queue. They exchanged a look and did not try anything funny. Currently, they needed to first enter the city before getting a feel of the situation. Hence, after seeking approval from everyone, Mo Ling voluntarily handed over the needed nirvana pills to a member of the Saint Light Empire before their party smoothly entered the city. A large majority of the city was constructed from stone. Although it was commonplace, it was stable and tough. Besides this, 8 stone towers stood at the center of the city, and could be considered as the most eye-catching place in the city. Yet, what astonished Lin Dong the most was the powerful auras from the 8 stone towers. Every one of these auras were not weaker than Mo Ling, Lin Langtian and the rest. Furthermore, the aura from the most central tower was vigorous without equal. Obviously, it was from the peak manifestation stage practitioner that had previously spoken. There were already many people within the city. From the looks of it, Saint Light Empire had roped in some of the other empires to help them with the work of governing the entire city. Lin Dong and his party did not appear to care too much about this matter. After making a trip about the city, they found an enormous stone house not far from the city walls. Although it was rather simple and crude, it was more than enough to accommodate the 5 of them. The party sat down in the stone house and watched the gradually darkening sky. All of them felt relieved that they had managed to find a resting spot before night arrived. Everyone, we can now consider ourselves to have officially found a resting place in the ancient battlefield. We will likely stay here for some time to familiarize ourselves with the environment. Mo Ling clapped his hands and smiled at Lin Dong and the others. However, I believe that we are currently at the outer region of the ancient battlefield. According to the rules of the 100 Empire War, all of us have 1 year. When this 1 year is over, everyone needs to head towards the deeper parts of the battlefield. Thus, this 1 year of achievements will determine exactly how far we can go in the 100 Empire War. Lin Dong and the rest nodded their heads in response. They were currently too unfamiliar with this ancient battlefield and needed to familiarize themselves a little before they were able to go out and cultivate, or find some opportunities. Due to the fact that they had rushed a whole day's worth of distance, the party interacted a little before each finding a room, impatient to start cultivating and enjoy the unique energy of this ancient battlefield. Lin Dong also entered a room and closed the door before directly seating himself on the stone bed. Yet, he did not immediately cultivate, but instead seemed to ponder. Compared to the geniuses from some of the other empires, they fell behind rather substantially. If they fought against those people now, Lin Dong knew that only a few of them would survive. Fortunately, they still had a 1-year buffer. Although this ancient battlefield was dangerous, it had unlimited treasures and opportunity. As long as they could grab these chances, it would not be impossible for them to surpass the geniuses from other empires. Lin Dong let out a long sigh. However, he still needed to first slowly familiarize himself with this ancient battlefield before he would be able to go solo. The Saint Light Empire is powerful indeed to have gained control of a city immediately after arriving. This is no small feat. Lin Dong's eyes penetrated the window and looked towards the central stone towers. Those were the best spots and they were occupied by the Saint Light Empire. Lin Dong did not have any special thoughts about this. As long as these people did not provoke him, he would be very happy to quietly get through this time of familiarization. Of course, if the Saint Light Empire group intended to step on his head, he did not mind letting them know what it felt like to kick a metal board. Part 1 end here.